How's he not disqualified off that?
It's outrageous. And then people start booing me like it's my fault. It's double fault in the eye, mate. Just trained for 14 months. Trust me, didn't want someone's finger knuckle deep in my eye. It's the last thing I wanted.
Guys, I just got poked knuckle deep in the eyeball. What the why are you booing? What am I supposed to do about it? I didn't do the poke. I can't see.
Tom Aspinall, the UFC heavyweight champion, has just dropped the biggest bombshell of his career. In a stunning move that nobody saw coming, Aspinall has issued an ultimatum directly to UFC President Dana White. Ban Ciryl Gane for suspected performance-enhancing drug use, or I'm walking away from the UFC.
No contest, unintentional foul. No contest.
What's your feeling right now? Guys, I just poked knuckle deep in the eyeball. Why are you booing? What am I supposed to do about it? I didn't do.
Yes, you heard that right. The heavyweight champion is threatening to leave the promotion entirely. And Dana White? He just responded on Twitter, and his message is sending shockwaves through the combat sports world. This situation is escalating fast, and what started as whispers about physique transformations has exploded into the biggest controversy in UFC heavyweight history. Buckle up, because this story goes deep.
There's no boxing.
UFC.
Hey man,
What is UFC? It's martial arts, right?
yeah, in a cage.
Include like this?
Well, you're not
No,
supposed
that's
to do that.
illegal.
That's illegal, right?
Yes.
You're not supposed to do that.
Let me set the stage for you. October 22nd, 2025. UFC releases the official fighter photos for UFC 321. When Ciryl Gane's photo hit social media, the MMA community erupted. We're talking about a transformation that looks straight out of a Marvel movie. Six-pack abs carved from stone, shoulders like bowling balls, vascularity popping everywhere. This is not the same Ciryl Gane who fought Jon Jones in 2023. This is not the same fighter who faced Francis Ngannou in 2022. This is a completely different physique.
247.5, the official weight for Ciryl Gane. And with that, your UFC 321 main event is now official.
Fast forward to yesterday. Behind closed doors at the UFC Performance Institute in Abu Dhabi, Tom Aspinall reportedly had a heated meeting with UFC executives. Sources close to the situation say Aspinall walked into that meeting with one demand: either you address the Ciryl Gane situation, or I'm done. I will not defend my belt against someone I believe is cheating. I will not put my life on the line against enhanced competition. Ban him, or I walk. The room went silent. Dana White, UFC brass, Aspinall's management team, everyone was stunned, because Tom Aspinall isn't just some fighter making noise. He's the heavyweight champion. He's the face of the division, and he just put his entire career on the line for his principles.
He doesn't have detached retina. There's no damage to the eye. So, you know, he should heal up soon, and we'll figure out when we can make the fight again. He's at home. He's recovering. And as soon as he's able to fight again, we'll book the rematch.
In multiple interviews, he's made his position crystal clear. Quote, "If your job is to hurt another person, physically hurt another person, which could potentially redirect the rest of their life post-fighting, and you're on PEDs, you're an absolute piece of trash, and you should never be able to fight again." He's not talking about suspensions. He's not talking about fines. He's talking about lifetime bans, forever done. And he's targeted the biggest names in the sport. Jon Jones, the former champion and GOAT candidate. Aspinall has repeatedly said Jones's failed drug tests disqualify him from greatest of all time consideration. No mercy, no exceptions.
Give us your reaction to the eye poke and how it all went out.
Great showing, shitty ending, you know. Looked like we were in for a few rounds, and it's going to be a good fight.
It would seem obvious that a rematch is right on the card.
Total pain in the ass, but yes.
Have you got any medical update on Tom, or is it still too soon?
He's on his way to the hospital.
Aspinall has been tested by USADA 47 times since joining the UFC. 47 times. And he's passed every single test, clean as a whistle. The man walks the walk. He's even said he won't use testosterone replacement therapy until after he retires. That's how serious he is about competing clean. So when his opponent shows up looking like a Greek god, when the transformation is this dramatic, when the timing is this suspicious, Aspinall sees red, and now he's drawing a line in the sand.
Oh, it will go after 2 minutes. That's tolerate with me.
Yeah, it just puts everything into perspective. Like when we're going, I can't see. Well, it's a dangerous sport, man.
You were saying it's scarier than what you did to your leg.
It's way scarier than what I did to my knee, because you know that the knee's just going to be all right, whereas your eye, still don't know how it's going to be.
Let's talk about what everyone is talking. The side-by-side comparison photos that went viral show two completely different athletes. Gane in 2022 during the Jones fight, lean, athletic, normal heavyweight build. Gane in 2025, absolutely shredded. Muscle definition we've never seen before, at 35 years old, at 6 feet 4 inches and 247 pounds, with visible abs and capped shoulders that bodybuilders would envy. Here's what makes people suspicious. Ciryl Gane never trained with weights until 2021. Never. The man became a UFC title contender without ever touching a barbell. Then he started weight training 4 years ago. Okay, that makes sense. But now, at age 35, when testosterone naturally declines, he suddenly looks like this? Right before the biggest fight of his career? Right before his third title shot? Sports physiologists will tell you that Gane's physique is at the extreme edge of what's naturally possible. Not impossible, but extremely rare, especially while maintaining the cardio for 5-round fights, especially at 35 years old. But Tom Aspinall doesn't believe it, and he's willing to throw away his career to prove his point. Now here's where it gets absolutely insane. After Aspinall's ultimatum leaked to the media yesterday afternoon, the MMA world held its breath waiting for Dana White's response. Dana, the man who comments on everything, who's never shy about sharing his opinion, who holds press conferences at the drop of a hat.
Only Tom knows what happened. Could he see? Couldn't he see? Could he continue? I can't make people fight if they feel they've been injured. After the Jones fight, a lot of people wrote Ciryl Gane off. He looked damn good tonight. I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. The rematch is very interesting.
The tweet has already gotten over 200,000 likes and 50,000 retweets. The comments section is an absolute war zone. Half the fans are supporting Aspinall. If he says Gane is dirty, I believe him. Tom has more integrity than anyone in the UFC. The other half are defending Dana. You can't accuse someone without proof. Gane passed his tests. This is ridiculous. But here's what Dana didn't say. He didn't say Aspinall was wrong. He didn't defend Gane's physique transformation. He didn't promise additional testing. He just said, the fight is happening and nobody dictates terms.
You know, we have heard that, there's anything. He doesn't have detached retina. There's no damage to the eye. He's at home. He's recovering. So he should heal up soon, and we'll figure out when we can make the fight again.
That's not a denial. That's a deflection. So where does this leave us? UFC 321 is 2 days away. Tom Aspinall is reportedly still in Abu Dhabi, still preparing to fight. But sources say he's furious. His team is furious. They feel like the UFC is prioritizing the pay-per-view over fighter safety, over the integrity of the sport, over everything Tom has been fighting for. Ciryl Gane's camp has released a statement calling Aspinall's accusations baseless and disrespectful. They point to Gane's clean testing record and say the transformation is the result of hard work, dedication, and elite coaching. They're threatening legal action if Aspinall continues making what they call defamatory implications.
Okay, let's go.
Dana White is caught in an impossible position. If he cancels the fight or demands additional testing, it looks like he's admitting there might be a problem. But if he ignores Aspinall's concerns and something happens in that cage, if there's a knockout or serious injury, the blowback could be catastrophic. Behind the scenes, there are rumors, and these are just rumors, that the UFC is considering having both fighters undergo additional random testing in the 48 hours before the fight. Blood work, urine samples, the whole 9 yards. But nothing has been confirmed yet.
You mentioned talking to the FBI. Are you directly talking to Kash Patel? I'm sure you do have a relationship.
Yeah, I talked to him this morning, but then we just had an office full of FBI agents in here.
And one of my enemies is in boiling hot shit. And I mean that stinky, smelly, hot lava coming out of me like lava. Cow dung fire. Out of my ass type of shit.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm talking about. So, my friend Dana White and the UFC are being investigated by the FBI for allegedly fixing over 100 fights. 100. With the latest one over the weekend.
He called the fighter and his lawyer and said, what's going on? There's some weird betting action going on in your fight. Are you injured? Do you owe anybody money? And the kid said, no, absolutely not. I'm gonna kill this guy. And, so we said, okay. The fight plays out and first round finish. Literally, the first thing we did was call the FBI.
Dana White officially fires 3 UFC fighters after a fight-fixing scandal, and he's facing backlash from boxing promoter Oscar De La Hoya, who's laughing at Dana White and said the UFC is over. But Dana White fires all fighters and also hires new fighters to shut Oscar De La Hoya's mouth.
Probably about 1 o'clock that day, we're with a company called IC360, and they are the best bet monitoring company in the business. And they reached out to us and they told us that there was some unusual action going on with that fight. Do we know anything? We didn't. So what we did was we called the fighter and his lawyer and said, what's going on? There's some weird action going on in your bet, weird betting action going on in your fight. Are you injured? Do you owe anybody money? Has anybody approached you to, and the kid said, no, absolutely not. I'm going to kill this guy. And, so we said, okay. The fight plays out and first round finish by rear naked choke. Literally, the first thing we did was call the FBI.
What you're about to hear involves serious allegations that could shake combat sports to its core. The UFC is currently embroiled in a potential fight-fixing scandal that has led to an FBI investigation, multiple fighter releases, and a war of words between Dana White and boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya.
He's gonna tap. He's gonna tap. He's acting like he's trying to get out of it because he's trying to sell it. This is insane. This is actually insane. FBI, please investigate this because this was a fixed fight. It was a fixed fight. Isaac Dulgarian was minus 270 hours before the fight. Money comes in on Yadiel Davae, money line, and to finish in round 1. That was a fixed fight. FBI, investigate it now. Okay, you just got the NBA. Now check out the UFC. That was a fixed fight.
It all began last Saturday night at UFC Vegas 110. Isaac Dulgarian, a featherweight fighter and heavy betting favorite, faced Yadier Del Valle in what should have been a routine undercard bout, but nothing about this fight was routine. Dana White revealed that the UFC immediately contacted Dulgarian and his lawyer, asking point blank, "Are you injured? Do you owe anybody money? Has anybody approached you?" Dulgarian's response? "No, absolutely not. I'm going to kill this guy."
Hey, I said, don't bet on me unless you're paying me some percentage. I'm doing all the work. That's how I feel about it. You know what I mean? Like, I work my ass off every day. I'm trying to support a family with this. And I think they should put some type of clause, like 3 or 5% of what you make goes to the fighter, So that's how I think they should do it, because we're the ones putting our lives on the line. We're the ones, sacrificing everything, training all day long, losing a social life, all that type of stuff. So, yeah, if you're betting on me, I want some of it.
Then the fight happened. Dulgarian offered virtually no resistance and was submitted via rear naked choke in the first round. The performance was so suspicious that multiple major sportsbooks, including Caesars, immediately announced they would refund all bets placed on Dulgarian. Dana White's next move? He walked straight from the octagon to his office and called the FBI.
The UFC is not rigged. It is not fixed. Geez, I can't believe that I have to say this. And the reason I am saying it is because I'm seeing so many trolls all over social media claiming now that the UFC is rigged. I just put some pics on for UFC 322 on my Instagram.
Michael, I need to talk to you about something.
Can't a man just get a bit of peace? My word, I'm trying to relax here.
Sorry, I just wanted to talk about UFC 322.
Whoa. UFC 322? That is my world. What do you want to know, babe? And everyone's like, how do you even make picks and bet on this sport when it's fixed, when it's staged, when it's rigged? Absolute goddamn nonsense, okay?
This is #1 bullshit.
You know it. I know it. There's a lot of people out there, though, they like to talk shit. They like to rip on the UFC. You know who they are? It's the usual suspects, and they're making a mountain out of a molehill because this is an opportunity to talk badly about the UFC.
This isn't Dana White just talking tough. The UFC president revealed in an interview with TMZ that he met with FBI agents twice on Monday, with an office full of FBI agents at UFC headquarters. He's also been in direct contact with FBI Director Kash Patel. White didn't hold back with his warning to fighters. If you try to do this, we will be your worst enemy. We will immediately go after you, guns a-blazing, with the FBI and whoever else we need to get, and we will do everything we can to make sure you go to prison.
But then we just had an office full of FBI agents in here. So, you know, if you try to do this, I've been very vocal and very open about this. We will be your worst enemy. We will immediately go after you, guns a-blazing, with the FBI and whoever else we need to get. And we will do everything we can to make sure you go to prison.
Isaac Dulgarian was cut from the UFC immediately, and the Nevada Athletic Commission moved to withhold his fight purse. But White made it clear, there's no proof yet, but it definitely doesn't look good.
There's no proof that he's done this yet, but I can tell you this, it doesn't look good. It definitely doesn't look good.
What makes this even more serious? Multiple UFC fighters came forward on social media claiming they've been approached about throwing fights. Lando Venata claimed he was approached 7 times. Vince Morales mentioned a $70,000 offer, and Vanessa Demopoulos said people have approached her as well. But here's where it gets messy. Several of these fighters quickly walked back their claims. Venata said his lawyer told him to stop trying to be funny on the internet and clarified it was all a joke. Dana White wasn't amused. Why didn't you tell us that? Why didn't you tell law enforcement? Now you're going to be approached by the FBI.
You know, you're seeing things out on the internet where like fighters are coming out and going, "Oh, I was approached. Really? Why didn't you tell us that? Or more importantly, why didn't you tell law enforcement that you were approached? Now you're saying that you were approached? It's like if somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I want you to rob a bank. I'm going to rob banks. Want to rob a bank with me?" And you don't do it. What, you're not gonna tell law enforcement? It's really weird that fighters are coming out now saying they were approached, and they're going to be approached now by the FBI.
While Dana White was dealing with federal investigators, his longtime rival Oscar De La Hoya saw an opportunity to strike. The boxing legend posted a scathing video on Instagram, absolutely reveling in the UFC's crisis. News came out this week that I cannot ignore, and one of my enemies is in boiling hot shit, De La Hoya said with a smile. My friend Dana White and the UFC are being investigated by the FBI for allegedly fixing over 100 fights. Was anybody really surprised? No.
But news came out this week that I cannot ignore, and one of my enemies is in boiling hot shit. And I mean that stinky, smelly, hot lava coming out of me like lava. Cow dung fire out of my ass type of shit.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm talking about. So, my friend Dana White and the UFC are being investigated by the FBI for allegedly fixing over 100 fights.
100.
With the latest one over the weekend, that was incredibly suspicious. I mean, wow. Is anybody really surprised?
Hell no.
He called TKO, the UFC's parent company, scumbags, and warned them to stay away from boxing, get the FCK out of our sport. Everything you touch turns to absolute shti. And now you have the FBI crawling up your ass. Good fucking luck.
Get the fuck out of our sport.
Now get the fuck out of here.
Everything you touch turns to absolute shit.
He's shit everywhere!
Hoya's attack wasn't just about the scandal. He pivoted to criticize the UFC's support for changes to the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, legislation that would give promotions more control over fighters. Similar to the UFC model, Dana's shirt is definitely stressed at this point, and he's having a terrible week, De La Hoya concluded. But guess what? I'm having a great week.
And my understanding is that this is not an isolated incident. And what I mean by that is I have talked to multiple people who have either experienced or know of others who experienced situations where they have been approached about their willingness to do something like this. So I have been told by multiple people that they have been approached, they have been talked to and said, are you interested in this? Are you interested in throwing a fight for X amount of dollars?
I've been trying to tell you guys, these TKO guys are scumbags. And now they're trying to change the Muhammad Ali Act to fuck boxers over. Get the fuck out of our sport.
Now get the fuck out of here.
Everything you touch turns to absolute shit.
He's shit everywhere!
And now you have the FBI crawling up your ass? Good fucking luck. I mean, look, is there any young boxer who is crazy enough to fuck their careers by signing with your shit league?
No.
They want their own rules. They want their own belt, their own ring, their own sanction to do exactly what they've done with the UFC.
It's all a fugazi.
Which landed them a $400 million suit from former fighters and now a federal investigation into illegal activity.
We just had an office full of FBI agents in here.
I mean, we'll see how that pans out. Dana's shirt is definitely stressed at this point, and he's having a terrible week.
Firstly, what do you think about that?
Oh, my friend and training partner has just got to the UFC. So, like, he's potentially like 2 or 3 wins away from like a title shot. So the thing is, if I'd never won a title, I'd never touched gold before, we would have to fight. And now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
You know what I think about that before you even ask me. I hate that, you know. Many friends, relatives, name it, have all fought each other before. You know, it doesn't determine whether you are friends with somebody or you hate somebody. You're competing against them to see who the best is. But that's his decision, you know, to even think about vacating it because you don't want to compete against somebody is absolutely insane, but he's a grown man. That's up to him.
Dana White drops a massive bombshell to Tom Aspinall and his father after he wants to leave UFC. Tom Aspinall's first undisputed heavyweight title defense ended in absolute chaos. But here's the kicker. Instead of supporting his champion who just suffered a horrific eye injury, Dana White dropped a massive bombshell at the press conference that has the entire MMA world in an uproar.
A lot of energy in this fight, so I'm really been disappointed, but this is the sport.
Ciry, you were fighting a wonderful first round.
From the brutal double eye poke that ended the fight, to Dana's shocking comments at the press conference, to the MMA community's explosive reaction UFC 321 Abu Dhabi, Tom Aspinall, the newly crowned undisputed heavyweight champion, is making his first title defense against the crafty Frenchman Ciryl Gane. The fight was competitive. Gane was moving well, using his footwork and technical striking. Tom was loading up on power shots, showing new techniques we'd never seen before, including a high kick that surprised everyone. Ciryl Gane's fingers, not his fist, but his extended fingers, meet Tom Aspinall's face. And we're not talking about a little poke here. This was a double eye poke. Both eyes, simultaneously. The replay shows Gane's middle knuckle going under Aspinall's eyelid and along his eyeball. The left eye poke was particularly deep. Tom immediately signals to the referee, clearly in distress.
Ciryl Gane in black. Tom
Ciryl Gane. Moving into Aspinall. Oh, nice.
Aspinall goes hot.
And Ciryl Gane was ranked higher than Tom.
Quick jab from Gane.
Don't love the spinning.
Leaky here early.
Is he prepared? The wolf.
Look like an eye poke there as Gane.
He's saying, I can't see. I can't see. The fight is waved off. Tom Aspinall cannot continue. The crowd, who paid big money and flew in from around the world, starts booing. They're booing the champion as he's lying on the canvas, unable to see out of either eye. Tom, clearly emotional and confused, grabs the microphone and says, "What are you booing me for? I got double eye poked."
I know you want to go and get medical attention, but talk us through your thought process and
What's your feeling right now?
Guys, I just got poked knuckle deep in the eyeball. Why are you booing? What am I supposed to do about it? I didn't do the poke. I can't see.
He's then rushed to the hospital, where he goes in and out for days, with his vision still affected 4 days later, according to reports. Now here's where it gets absolutely wild. While Tom Aspinall is being rushed to the hospital, unable to see, Dana White steps up to the post-fight press conference. And what does he say? Let me read you the exact quote. "I can't make people fight. You can't make someone continue if they feel injured." Gane had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. Only Tom knows what happened. Could he see? Couldn't he see? Only he knows.
And you definitely can't make somebody continue if they feel they've been injured. Only Tom knows what happened. You know, could he see? Couldn't he see? Could he continue? Only he knows that.
Did you catch that? Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. Not Tom suffered an illegal strike. Not Tom was fouled with multiple eye pokes. Just Tom didn't want to continue.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight, so.
Not Tom was fouled with an illegal strike, multiple illegal strikes.
Dana then went on to praise Ciryl Gane's performance, calling him incredible and dominant. He said the situation was a pain in the ass, but that he would rebook the fight. Ariel Helwani absolutely exploded online, calling Dana's comments irresponsible and embarrassing for the UFC. He pointed out that Dana didn't call out Gane once, even though Gane caused the fight-ending foul. Instead, Dana seemed to protect Gane while throwing his own champion under the bus. Ariel Helwani brought up an important point about intentional versus unintentional fouls. He said, "This notion of intentional versus unintentional is the stupidest thing in sports. A foul is a foul. You don't see NBA referees converging to ask if a player meant to commit a foul. The ball just goes the other way."
This notion of intentional versus unintentional is the stupidest shit in sports. Period. Period. You don't hear it anywhere else. Let me ask you guys a question. Yesterday, I'm watching the New York Knicks against the Miami Heat. Crucial juncture of the game. Knicks are down like 8 or so. They have the ball. Josh Hart gets called for an offensive foul. Illegal screen. Do the referees converge and say, like, did he mean to do that or did he not mean to do that? No, a foul is a foul. Ball goes the other way.
And he's right. Whether Gane meant to poke Tom in the eyes or not, it's still an illegal strike that ended the fight. Michael Bisping, a former UFC champion who famously fought with one eye, defended Tom's decision. He said, "If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be difficult."
The reality is, if he can't see,
tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People
Yeah.
might point to me and say, "Well, you fought with one eye." Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight.
Even the analysts noted that this wasn't a one-sided beatdown. Yes, Tom had a bloody nose. Yes, Gane was fighting well, but Tom was landing nasty shots too. The fight was competitive, and there's no evidence that Tom was looking for a way out, as some suggested. The betting odds tell the story. Tom opened as a 3.5 to 1 favorite. After this incident, odds makers are suggesting the rematch could be close. Gane might even become the favorite. That's not because Tom quit. It's because the narrative around him has been unfairly damaged.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Jason Berzon from the start of this contest at 4 minutes, 35 seconds of the first round. We were at the middle now. This fight is declared no contest.
I'm here with Tom.
First, just weeks before UFC 321, Tom appeared on the She XT Gigs podcast and said something that clearly irritated Dana. Tom's friend and training partner, Ante Delija, had just entered the UFC's heavyweight top 10. Tom said if Delija ever fought his way to a title shot, Tom would vacate the belt rather than fight his friend. Tom explained, "If I'd never won a title, I'd be like, we have to fight because that's my dream. But now I've done it. I'd vacate IT, and he can have his time. I wouldn't fight him. No chance. He's one of my genuine friends. There's some stuff to me that's more important than money and titles."
So the thing is, if I'd never won a title, I'd never touched gold before. We would have to fight because that's my dream.
Yeah.
Well, now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
Really? So if it comes to it, you're just not fighting him?
I wouldn't fight him. No chance. No chance.
Damn. Fucking
no.
Props.
That's
really?
Yeah. That's so I've got guys who I train with, of course, and I've trained with them for years and stuff. And I've got other guys who are my like genuine friends.
Yeah.
And he's one of like my genuine friends. I would never like there's some stuff to me that's like more important than like money and titles. And like I say, I've won the title. I've done that.
Second, Tom's father and head coach, Andy Aspinall, gave an interview during Fight Week where he revealed his desire for Tom to finish his UFC contract and move to boxing, where bigger paydays would be waiting. This isn't new, Andy has said this before, but the timing raised eyebrows. Some speculated the UFC might delay Tom's final fight out of spite, as they've done with other fighters wanting to leave.
He has an average fight time of 2 minutes and 19 seconds. You even said in the documentary recently.
Every fight we say, go out, enjoy it, try and do 3 rounds if you can. Let everybody have a good look at you and show what you can do.
Do you want the world to see what your son can do in the octagon?
I'd like people to see that he's a good martial artist, but he doesn't get to show that very often. And as a consequence of that, they just say everybody's in the heavyweight division, which they're probably not. So I'd like it different this time. Show the world that the heavyweight division is not. There's some good fighters in the heavyweight division who Tom's happened to have hit before they've hit him.
So when the eye poke incident happened, it seems like Dana's frustration with the Aspinall camp finally boiled over. Here's the thing. This isn't the first time Dana White has turned on a fighter who dared to question him or hint at leaving. Tom Aspinall had been the perfect company man. He took a world title fight on 2 weeks' notice. He weighed in as the backup fighter for the Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic fight. He defended his interim title when almost no one else would. He sat out for 15 months waiting for Jon Jones to make a decision, only for Jones to retire. The most heartbreaking moment came from Tom's father, Andy Aspinall. In footage that emerged after the fight, you can hear the genuine fear and concern in Andy's voice. He said, "It might be that he lost his eye." It's just a horrendous thing to think as a parent, really. If it's just your son, and they could lose an eye, and their health, and they've got children to look after, something needs to be done about it.
Mike Bisping, he lost his eye. And it's just a horrendous thing to think as a parent, really. And I know what it's like these days with people saying what they want, but if it's just your son, and they could lose an eye, and their health, and they've got children to look after, you know, something needs doing about it.
Don't really get hungry there, put it on there.
Tom Aspinall just dropped a bombshell message to Ciryl Gane ahead of their UFC 321 title clash, claiming he holds one major advantage that could change everything. Alexander Volkov, who's fought both men, just gave his prediction. All right, let's start with the champion himself, Tom Aspinall. The British heavyweight is set to defend his title for the first time as the undisputed champion at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi on October 25th, and he just revealed what he believes is his biggest advantage over not just Ciryl Gane, but the entire heavyweight division.
I think if I hit anybody, I can knock anybody out. And I think that Ciryl is no exception, but obviously there are some weaknesses in his ground game that we've seen, but I'm sure he's improved. Do you know what I mean? This is an MMA fight. It can go anywhere, so I'm sure we'll both be ready for anything.
Aspinall claims that because his fights end so quickly, we're talking an average fight time of just over 2 minutes. His opponents have barely any footage to study. Think about that. This is his 10th UFC fight, but he says people have only seen 10 to 20% of what he can actually do. In his own words, "If I can go through my career and nobody is seeing me do anything, that's ideal for me because each long fight, the opponent gets to see more and more. Right now, I've got a lot of UFC fights, but people have only seen 10 to 20% of what I can actually do. And that is just a massive advantage."
Ciryl tweeted that he thinks you should be careful what you wish for, and he'll see you in Paris. How do you think you match up against Ciryl?
I better be careful, apparently. Yeah.
I think I match up pretty well against him. I think I'm equally as fast as him. I move equally as well. The difference is I can grapple. I've got a lot of power. And